What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a deck that I found on an article in PokeBeach as another part of the many types of Silvally series, and this one is centered around Silvally and Zygarde-GX. I will link the original, I'll link the original article down in the description so you guys can see what the original list was. But before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton, and let's do more cool stuff for you guys. And also here at TTM, we are a collaborative channel, so we not only have TCG content, which is why you clicked on this video, we also have draft format content from myself, Crobat for the win, and Jolt. So if any of that interests you, please feel free to subscribe. And also, one last thing, we also have a TTM Discord where we have channels for every facet of Pokemon, TCG, draft format, or Smogon. That will be linked in the description below as well. So please check that out if that is something that interests you. But also, as for the question of the day, so this deck is obviously centered around Zygarde, and I wanted to do a deck that wasn't just a straightforward Zygarde deck that had a little bit of a twist. I mean, obviously I wanted to do the combination of Zygarde-GX and Bonnie, but this article came up and I was like, oh, that's really cool. That fits in right with what I was trying to do with Silvally, and I jumped at the opportunity to do it. And so my question of the day is going to be centered around Zygarde. So obviously Zygarde has a 10%, a 50%, and a complete form. So my question is, what Pokemon would you like to see get the Zygarde treatment? And by that, I mean, what Pokemon would you like to see get, well, basically get a complete revamp in a quote-unquote complete form, but basically just what Pokemon do you want to see get a form that's just significantly better than what it already was, like a new form that just makes it a lot better. Yeah, I know that basically can be Mega Evolutions, but it doesn't have to be. If you want it to mean Mega, then by all means go ahead and do that. The Pokemon I would like to see get a Zygarde treatment where you give it just a brand new form that is like, oh, it wasn't complete, now it is quote-unquote complete. I want to see Dunsparce get that, because Dunsparce is honestly a laughing stock. Like, there's a reason that it even has any remote popularity. I know it has shoutouts to Will, the RNG Lord, who has a special spot in his heart for Dunsparce. But I mean, it really is just kind of atrocious. Like, just straight up, it is atrocious. But it looks like a Mon that very easily, like, it legitimately looks like a pre-evolution to a Fairy Dragon. And I think a Fairy Dragon would be absolutely awesome. I think Dunsparce, with the form that it's in now, definitely could get a new form that, I mean, this original form, I mean, has small wings, a small tail. It basically looks like it still has yet to grow up into what it was meant to be. So just by seeing Dunsparce, I think Dunsparce could very easily get a Zygarde complete treatment in that all of a sudden it's just turned into an absolute monster that definitely could have a place in the, well, in the TCG, in the video game, etc., etc. So yeah, what Pokemon do you want to see get the Zygarde treatment? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. But anyway, onto the deck. Like I said, it is centered around the combination of Zygarde and Silvally. You guys know what Silvally does by now. Just accelerates energy with Colorless and gives basic Pokemon free retreat. And then Zygarde from Forbidden Light. Basically, what the whole goal of this deck is to Verdict GX over and over, 150 damage, and prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your from Pokemon EX and Pokemon GX during your opponent's next turn, and then use Bonnie to be able to repeatedly use that attack over and over again. I mean, basically, it's just kind of, okay, you're not going to touch me once I get set up. I'm going to force you to have to Guzma around this Zygarde. You can't attack when in front of you, and if you have to Guzma, then you will not be able to play a draw supporter. So it basically just tries to put your opponent in a checkmate position, and with things like Strong Energy, Choice Band, and Diancie Prism Star, you're able to boost that damage to levels that really make it able to one-hit KO certain things. So yeah, I mean, it's just pretty straightforward in that regard. You have the Silvally for energy acceleration, you have the Zygarde, which is going to be the attacker that we try to accelerate energy to, you have Diancie for boosting attacks, and then we're also running 1/1 of Baby Buzzwole and Buzzwole-GX. I mean, if we're running a fighting deck, we would be remiss, in all honesty, if we were not running Buzzwole, just because it is so ridiculously strong in this game. I mean, just being able to Jet Punch for a single energy does 30 and 30. So, I mean, one energy for essentially 60 damage is already insanely strong. But then you tack on things like Strong Energy, Choice Band, Diancie, Fighting Fury Belt, stuff like that, and all of a sudden that one energy attack turns into, like, triple-digit damage, like, gets almost, let's see, with a Choice Band, a Diancie, and a Strong Energy, you're actually able to hit for 100 damage and 30 bench sniping. I mean, that's just insanely powerful in its own right. And then one baby Buzzwole to work around things like Hoopa and Alolan Ninetales, just stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward, just a Silvally deck with fighting support. And as for the Mons, we have one Oranguru to also be another way to work around Ninetales and Hoopa, but mainly that's Buzzwole. Oranguru is mainly there just to draw extra cards, not be as hurt by N. 3/3 of type Null and Silvally, as Silvally is basically the engine of this deck. It's going to be our main attacker most of the time until we can get either Buzzwole powered up or Zygarde powered up. So Silvally starts and pretty much ends the game with, unless I'm able to get a Zygarde going. But Silvally really is the engine that keeps this deck going. I mean, that free retreat is amazing, as well as the energy acceleration, and also Rebel GX being able to just hit for insane amounts to be able to just delete a Pokemon that would otherwise cause us problems. 1/1 of Buzzwole and Baby Buzzwole for backup attackers, 1 Prism Star Diancie. I would like to run more, but unfortunately that's not what that does. And then 2 of the Zygarde-GX, as it is the main backup attacker. And also we have 2 Tapu Lele, just because Lele into Brigette is a very solid turn 1, but this deck doesn't necessarily need that. However, it's still very, very strong, as it grabs GXs, which is insane. We have 2 Field Blowers because Garbodor and Choice Bands are annoying for us to deal with, as well as Fighting Fury Belts. 1 Rescue Stretcher as the method of recursion, as we do have Silvally to bring back our basic energy from the discard pile. We like having basic energy in the discard pile for Silvally to be able to accelerate onto whatever Pokemon I want. 4 Ultra Ball to guarantee get us the Pokemon we want when we want it. As for the stadium, we have Brooklet Hill to be able to search out our fighting Pokemon. Now, granted, this can't get out like Orangurus or the type Nulls, but it gets us out these fighting Pokemon, which, considering we have a bunch of one-ofs, it's nice to be able to just search those very easily. And also, Bonnie has to have a stadium in play in order to play it, so that's why we're running a relatively heavy line of Brooklet Hill, considering we only have 5 fighting type Pokemon in the deck. 3 Bonnie, just because, I mean, I found that 2 was just not enough, as I usually ended up discarding 1 early game by some means, like Ultra Ball or Sycamore or something to that effect. It would just be discarded and I'd only have 1 for the rest of the game. 3 allows me that little flexibility to discard 1 early on while still having access to them late game, in order to be able to just kind of shut off my opponent from damaging my Zygarde with EXs and GXs. 1 Brigette, because Lele into Brigette is a very strong opening, but it's not absolutely necessary for this deck, as we do have Brooklet Hill to be able to be an additional method of search. 4/3/3 of Cynthia and Sycamore. That's just the line that I've grown comfortable with. It's a line that I like. Definitely try out your own lines. Let me know what works for you. And then 3 Guzma, because again, I like Guzma. I like having 3 Guzma. 3 seems to be the right number to where it doesn't clog the deck, but also you do have access to it when you need it. As for the items, you have 2/2 of Choice Band and Fighting Fury Belt, just whether you need the extra damage or a little more longevity on your Mons, just you have a choice between the two. 2 Psychic Memory, and that's the only memory we're running in this deck, because Fighting Memory we don't need, because, I mean, it's a Silvally fighting deck, so we have Zoroark. One thing that could be annoying for this deck is fighting types like Buzzwole. I mean, like, going up against Buzzwole could be very annoying for us, as our Silvally is weak to them, so this kind of gives us a fighting chance against them, just being able to one-shot them by playing a Psychic Memory onto our own Silvallies, so that we're able to hit super effectively while accelerating energy. It's just kind of a, okay, you can hit me super effectively, but I can also hit you super effectively. And finally, for the energy, we have 4 DCEs, because, I mean, that's what everything save the Buzzwoles in this deck runs on. And then only 2 Strong Energy, because unfortunately Silvally can only attach a basic energy card from your discard pile, and also the Cell Collector attack with Zygarde for a DCE. You attach 2 Fighting Energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. Well, Unfortunately, Strong Energy only count as fighting when they are attached to a fighting Pokemon. So when they're in the discard pile, they are not a fighting energy. So our methods of recursion and acceleration can't grab Strong Energy. However, it's still a very, pun intended, strong card. So that's why we're having it in the deck. But that's why there's a much larger number of regular fighting as opposed to running a max number of Strong Energy. So yeah, that's the deck. Let's just go ahead and see it in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Jay Bergs with a Dragon, Fire, and Grass deck along with normal, so honestly I have no idea what my opponent is running at all. I mean, the Dragon, Fire, and Grass. What could that be? I really don't know what that could be. So we see the deck box with Dragon and Grass. Maybe that's Executor. I mean, the normal can just be Oranguru. Like, that's not necessarily indicative of what type of deck it is. But, yeah, oh, whoops, I forgot to click done. Oops. But yeah, I'm really not sure what my opponent is running. It does start with Lele. What I can do this coming turn is just go ahead, Ultra Ball for a Brigette, or Ultra Ball for a Lele for a Brigette, get out a Type Null or one or two Type Nulls, a Zygarde-GX, and then I can just start attaching energy, hopefully be able to accelerate the energy to it so that I'm able to... Okay, so it's Venusaur. Okay, so looks like it's a low... Okay, and then there's Execute, so it's a Alolan Execute, or Alolan Executor, Venusaur, and yeah, Alolan Executor, Venusaur. Still no idea what the fire type is. What could the fire type be? Because, yeah, I'm really honestly just not sure what the fire type is. So, he just attaches the energy to Execute, gets an Oranguru. That's kind of what I figured. Maybe now we'll figure out what the fire type is. Nope, just get a Bulbasaur. So, yeah, still just no idea what it is. So we actually do get a Type Null. Let's Ultra Ball, get rid of... I hate to do this, but let's get rid of a Strong Energy and a Field Blower. There's Buzzwole. Actually, you know what? I don't need to bridge it this turn. I think what I want to try to do is start sniping down the Execute with Buzzwole. Maybe I can draw into the right cards to get out of the active. No, I do not. But... we still end up with two Type Null and a Buzzwole and a Diancie Prism Star, so I can always just do that later, which that really works out, because now what I can do next turn is Guzma up the Bulbasaur or the Execute, knock it out in one hit, and yeah, just take my prize off of that. So I'm in a pretty solid spot overall. Just got to get Oranguru out of the active spot, but I should be able to do that with my Guzma, and he gets a Rare Candy Venusaur immediately, so there's that. That's unfortunate. He instructs for 2 cards. Please don't get a supporter off of this. Gets an energy onto Execute. And let's see. And of course he gets a Cynthia. Well, that's annoying. But regardless, I still should be able to start sniping. I should be able to start sniping down Executes and getting rid of those guys, and start spreading damage elsewhere. And then he does get the energy onto the Alolan Executor. So that is something, and he's already able to hit for a pretty solid amount of damage. If he gets the Float Stone, he'll be able to knock me out. Or he won't be able to knock me out, he'll be able to attack, which he doesn't get. So actually what I'm going to do... What do I want to target down? Actually... Do I want to bring up the Venusaur and just start sniping things? Do I want to damage the Alolan Executor? Actually, you know what? Given how low of a hand he has, I'm just going to go ahead and bring up the Oranguru, attach the energy to my Type Null, and then, whoops, I almost attacked without instructing, which definitely would have gotten me a card that I want. Actually, that's Bonnie. It really doesn't help. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead, knock out the Oranguru, so that if my opponent was relying on Oranguru for cards this coming turn, that is something that he can no longer do. So with this hand that I have right now, I would really like to get an Ultra Ball so I can get a regular fighting in the discard pile, so I can start using Silvally to be able to finish those, to be able to attack. Well, Yeah, attack and accelerate energy. I just completely lost what I was going for with my train of thought right there. Execute is starting to get powered up on the bench, but I'm really glad that I attacked the Alolan Executor, because now what I can do if I get a Silvally is, wow, I get an Ultra Ball. That's exactly what I wanted. So let's Ultra Ball, get rid of... Actually, you know what? Because I'm confused and don't want to attack with Buzzwole, I want to keep the basic fighting in my hand, just because, I mean, you guys know how paranoid I am about getting greedy. Like, I really don't want to get greedy and then not draw into an energy. So let's just go ahead and do that. Instruct, maybe I can draw a regular fighting off of that. I don't, so I am just going to go ahead and Sycamore, get a fresh hand. And I do draw into energy, which, I mean, would have been nice last turn. But at the same time, I still stand by my play, just not being risky. And then let's just go straight into my Silvally, and then... yeah, let's just Rebel GX, because what I can always do is once I get a Zygarde powered up, I can just use Bonnie to be able to reuse Zygarde's GX attack. So really there's no harm done in going for my GX attack, knocking out the Alolan Executor this early, getting N and a DCE. Oh boy. Well, I mean, I can just start attaching like the DCEs to other stuff. I really would like to get a Zygarde, because then I can just start attaching the energy to it and not have to worry about anything. The Field Blower does go down. Going to get rid of my Fighting Fury Belt. That's not a huge deal. Is he going to knock me out? He's going to Guzma. Going to bring up the Buzzwole. And he's going to try to knock me out with Continuous Explosion, I think. He needs 4 heads. He needs 4 heads or 2 heads and a Choice Band. He actually just retreats into his other Alolan Egg. Okay, he gets 2. Does he? No. Okay, good. He got 3 heads, and I was like, what the heck? Are you kidding me? But, yeah, still no Zygarde, which is unfortunate, because I'd really like to have that to start getting that thing powered up. But I guess what I'm just going to do is this is just going to be like a Silvally Buzzwole game, I suppose. Because what I can do is just attach the energy to the type Null. Definitely bring up the Execute with 2 energy on it as opposed to 1. Yeah, let's definitely do that. Just go into the Oranguru, because, I mean, I do have the free retreat with the Silvally-GX. Go back into Buzzwole, go for a Jet Punch, knock out this guy, and then... yeah, this way I can just, like, potentially start sniping down the Execute. That way if I get another Guzma, I can always just Lele into Guzma, bring up the Tapu Koko, one-shot that thing while sniping down the Execute on the bench with a Jet Punch. So that's going to be my game plan. Just take my last couple prizes that way. Gets a Nest Ball. That's okay with me, because as long as he doesn't... actually, this also gives me another chance, another thing to Guzma. So he just goes into Execute. He's going to Continuous Explosion, gets Tails. Luckily, I mean, like, to be fair, he's still got 3 heads and 2 tails, which is right about... which is what you expect. I mean, that's right, 50-50. And then that 3 heads and 1 tail, I was like, oh, geez, no. But we are able to win that game. My opponent forfeited, but what I would have just done is Lele'd for Guzma, brought up the Bulbasaur, knocked that thing out with Jet Punch, and then sniped down the Execute from there. So I did have the game pretty much in hand right there. I mean, assuming my last Guzma wasn't prized, or my last 2 Guzmas weren't prized. So, I mean, that was a solid game against a pretty good deck. I mean, Alolan Executor is not top tier by any means. It's kind of more of just a fun deck. I mean, still a very cool deck by my opponent. Fortunately, did not get to use Zygarde, so I'm going to try to do that in the coming game, and let's go ahead and try to find another one. Alrighty, we found another one against Weeby with a Water and Psychic deck. So, I mean, this could be any one of a number of Water and Psychic decks that are running around. We are going to go for the coin flip. We do not win it, so we are going to end up going second, which is... I mean, this deck can technically attack going second. Well, granted, I have to have a Pokemon in order to attack going second, but I really do prefer going first. That way I can get things set up. I can get things set up a little bit quicker, and I mean, going second, if I'm able to, like, Ultra Ball away... if I'm able to, like, Ultra Ball away two fighting energy and then get a DCE onto my Zygarde, then that's something I can work with. So the question is, okay, please draw into an energy, because if I draw into an energy, then this is an opening hand that I can really work with. If I don't, then that would make me... kind of sad. So, yeah, I mean, my opponent has Remoraid, so, I mean, that's obviously, like, Remoraid can be run in any number of decks. I'm just curious as to what the rest of my opponent's strategy is going to be. Gets rid of a Field Blower and an Aqua Patch. Two things that I'm very glad to see in the discard pile early, so that must mean they have a hand of a lot of good stuff. Grab a Lapras GX. Okay, so this is a Lapras. Zygarde is actually going to put in some work in this game, I'm pretty sure. Because if I'm able to just prevent Lapras from attacking over and over, and yeah, just keep taking attacks, and maybe he doesn't have Guzma or something like that, then I will be in an absolutely terrific position. So my opponent even just lets the turn, doesn't have a supporter, so that's great. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Cynthia and the Rescue Stretcher to grab a type Null. Honestly, like, I could have gone for the Brigette play, but I think the better play in this case is to just go ahead, put the Silvally back in the deck with Rescue Stretcher, because, I mean, I want to Sycamore this turn just to try to get some energy, because not drawing into energy really would have put me back, and so I just decided that, you know what, it's better to just get this going. I'm going to play down Baby Buzzwole, because that's actually going to be something that can take advantage of Lapras later. Yeah, with the Strong Energy and Diancie, I will be able to actually one-shot Lapras with Baby Buzzwole, which once my opponent is able to knock out either a Zygarde, a Buzzwole, or a Silvally, then I will have Baby Buzzwole able to come in and hit for an absolute crap ton of damage while being a single prize attacker, forcing my opponent to deal with it. So that's definitely what I'm going to try to go for. My opponent does get a second Lapras and a Choice Band. How's he going to do this? So I mean, quite frankly, I just need a Silvally at this point, because once I get a Silvally, I'll be able to retreat my Diancie out. And I get a Strong Energy. Yeah, I can't play that onto the Silvally, so that's just kind of what I'm going to go for at this point. I could have attached a Psychic Drive, but it really doesn't do, or Psychic Memory, really doesn't do a whole lot for me. And finally, I'm going to be able to get a Zygarde down. So let's go ahead and Brooklet Hill, grab that Zygarde finally. And unfortunately, there's no energy in the discard pile for me to be able to accelerate onto Zygarde. So at this point, I'm just going to kind of have to... Actually, do I want to play the Buzzwole down? Nah, I'm going to save that for Lele. That way I can grab like a Cynthia or something. And no energy, sad me. So I could guess I just have to manually start powering up Zygarde. I think that's going to be... I think that might be the way to go. Because with the Choice Band, I will be able to one-shot Laprases with my GX attack. And I think that's kind of what I'm going to play off of. Yeah, my opponent will be able to use my Brooklet Hill as well. But I really did want to get that Zygarde out, especially because there was only a single copy in my deck. So I think that's going to be a little bit better for me, all things considered. He can attack me with Lapras this coming turn. He is just going to Sycamore away his hand. I honestly wouldn't have minded an N right there, just be able to just get myself a brand new hand that I can use. Because with this hand, there's the Volcanion. What does it do? You can discard a Water Energy, your opponent switches active with one of... That's not really a big deal because I do have the free retreat of my basics with my Silvally. So that's not too big of a deal. And what I'll be able to do is attach the Choice Band to Zygarde probably... Or do I want to attach it to Baby Buzz or one of my potential Silvallies? Honestly, I'm not completely sure what I want to do with the Choice Band. I'll probably just decide in the spur of the moment, whatever I'm feeling at the time. My opponent does get out another Remoraid. I mean, that was kind of expected at this point. And he is just going to collect. So even though this will get me a little bit lesser of a hand, I think I'm just going to end. Ooh, I get an Ultra Ball as well. So let's Choice Band up the Zygarde, just because, I mean, once I get that thing powered up, it's going to steamroll through Lapras, and if I can continually Bonnie, I will be in an even better position. So there's two Bonnie, there's an N, no Sycamore, that's good to know. So yeah, I'm just going to grab another Silvally, play that down there, and even though I think I only am going to get 5 cards off of this, I still Yeah, I still want to end so my opponent doesn't have as good of a hand as they have right now. So let's just go ahead and Tapu Lele for the N, and then just play that down so that we do get a hand of 5. It's not a hand of 6, it's only a hand of 5. And I get some energy, so would have liked to still be able to discard energy, but I mean, I guess some energy is better than nothing, so let's just go ahead and Strong Energy up the Zygarde. I can always just... Yeah, I mean, I can always just go for its 50 damage attack to finish off the Lapras at this point. So I'm not overly worried about this situation. The Choice Band comes down on the other Lapras. That's annoying, but fine. I'd really like to get an Ultra Ball this turn to get that regular energy in the discard pile so that Turbo Drive can finally start powering up my Zygarde. And then I will N again just because N will be much less useful to me later. I'd rather get 5 cards than 3 cards later in the game, or less even. But my opponent does concede, I must have ended him out of a very good hand, because I mean, he did have 8, which I mean, you have to assume that your opponent has good stuff at that point, down to a hand of 5, and he must not have had much of anything at all, so he does just concede. I unfortunately did not get Zygarde powered up or able to do anything, so that's kind of sad. But, I mean, still able to show off what this deck does, and if the game had gone on longer, I think Zygarde would have been able to come through with its GX attack and just completely lock out Lapras from being able to do damage. So, solid-ish second game, but I'm just going to keep going until we're able to get a game where I'm able to use Zygarde's GX attack. So, yeah, let's find another one. Alrighty, we've found another one against Cyndaquil, not Cyndaquil, Cyndaquil, with a... Ah, crap, I was pronouncing the name. I was placing so much emphasis on the name, I forgot to see what type of deck he had. Oh well, we do get to go for the coin flip, and we do win it, so we will get to go first. That is fantastic for us. And let's see what we start with. We start with a Lele. Kind of the last thing you want to start with, all things considered. Actually, yeah, it really is the last thing you want to start with. Because now... well, I get an N, so that's handy. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball. Get rid of the Guzma and the Bonnie. So we're up against a Greninja deck. I mean, I hate to get rid of a Bonnie this early, but I think that it's in my best interest just to have everything. Keep the Rescue Stretcher for later. Let's go ahead and get the Zygarde down. There's 3 Silvally. There's still 2 Bonnie in the deck, so I should be okay. And 5 energy. Yeah, I could just try to wait to discard it, but I'm just going to go ahead and play it onto the Zygarde, because the quicker I can get that thing powered up, the better. And here we go. Okay, so this is fantastic. Next turn, you know what? Let's go ahead and Choice Band up the Zygarde, try to bait out the Field Blower. This will allow my opponent to get another Froakie as well, but I think I still should be okay, because what I can do next turn, Ultra Ball, get rid of an energy, get rid of the... well, the N or the Cynthia, whichever I don't want to use that turn. For a Silvally, that way I have free retreat off my Lele, energy up the Zygarde so I'm able to attack, and looks like my opponent didn't have much of anything at all. So what I'm going to do is actually Brooklet Hill for a Buzzwole, because I already have a Zygarde, and I think all I'm going to need is one Zygarde. Actually, you know what? No, let's Baby Buzzwole, because this way, if my opponent starts targeting down the Zygarde, then I still have the ability to... If my opponent starts targeting down my Zygarde and knocks it out, then Baby Buzzwole will be activated. Well, Baby Buzzwole's big attack will be activated, and then I can go from there. So I really, really would like the... I mean, I was going for the Prism Star Diancie, but unfortunately that does look to be present. No, no, no. I know I have Wi-Fi. Don't you do this to me. No, 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 no. Bad. Bad computer. Connect to Wi-Fi, please. This is actually a game where I'm looking up to have Zygarde going, and then let's do that. And I'm actually going to get rid of the Brooklet Hill because my opponent can take advantage of that, and I don't want him to be able to get out anything more. And like I said, really would have liked to have the Diancie Prism Star in this case, but unfortunately that's not what happened, so I'm not quite able to take the knockout on the Froakies just yet. So let's go ahead and energy up my Buzzwole, my Zygarde, and yeah, we're good to go. I'll be able to start powering up Silvallies. I can go for my GX attack as soon as I feel that it's necessary. I should have 2 Silvallies by next turn. And my opponent evolves into Frogadier. Not the Frogadier that you generally run in a Greninja deck in this format. I mean, it could still be running like the Greninja Break deck, and that might be what I'm up against. But I highly doubt it, as the new Greninja is better. And also, because Greninja Break has fallen out of favor. I mean, it still could be, which is why he's running the water duplicates. But, honestly, he does evolve. Okay, so he's running the water duplicates. I really don't think he's running Greninja Break at this point. I mean, or not Greninja Break. I don't think he's running Greninja GX, because you would want that extra 20 damage from evolving into Frogadier unless you were that dead set on getting a ton of Greninja GXs out. Or it could be running like a combination of it. That'd be pretty cool as well. But regardless, I'm okay with the fact that I'm not having to take the 40 damage from Frogadiers from just evolving. So, I mean, that's fine with me, quite frankly. So, just a matter of, is my opponent gonna water duplicates? Does he have energy? Does he have a supporter? It doesn't look like he has much of anything. In fact, it doesn't even look like my opponent's in the game anymore. I mean, he evolved twice. And then it kind of looks like he's gone... Okay, please don't go AFK. I finally got Zygarde powered up, and it's finally starting to do something. Please don't leave. Let's just do some nice little stars with the mouse right there. And yeah, my opponent went AFK, so that's really annoying. You know, I can't evolve a Silvally into Silvally. That's not how that works. And then let's just Cynthia. Keep the Guzma and Sycamore for later. Man, that's annoying, because I finally got something going, and my opponent goes AFK. So let's Ultra Ball. Get rid of the Rescue Stretcher. Don't need it at this point in a Brooklet Hill. I mean, they literally do nothing for me. Let's grab a Buzzwole, just because, I mean, Buzzwole is there. And you know what? Do I want a Land's Wrath? You know what? I'm going to justify going for Verdict GX by saying that my opponent could realistically evolve into a Greninja GX next turn, and I do have the Bonnie to be able to go for my GX attack again and win the game. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do that, because now if he evolves into Greninja, Greninja's not going to be able to attack me, even though I don't think he'd be able to attack me anyway. And yeah, if he evolves into a regular Greninja, not a GX, then I'll be able to knock it out once again next turn, once I go for a Bonnie and go for the GX attack again. But if he evolves into Greninja GX, he can't attack me, so my opponent is kind of in a checkmate position right now with my Zygarde. And no, I wanted to Bonnie! Oh man, my opponent left. That sucks. Oh, that makes me really sad, because I finally got Zygarde set up. I was finally in a position to where I could go for repeated Verdict GXs with Bonnie as well, and not able to do that. That sucks. That really does suck. But regardless, we were finally able to attack with Zygarde, so we're going to use Zygarde's GX attack, so I think I'm going to end it there. Hope you guys enjoyed watching, even though it really wasn't able to showcase Zygarde as much as I liked, but I was able to show what this deck can do. And also, once Zygarde got going, I was able to actually get it powered up and attack, so I'm chalking that up as a win. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.